Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. As Jesus and his disciples were proceeding on their journey, someone said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." Jesus answered him, "Foxes have dens, and birds of the sky have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to rest his head." And to another he said, "Follow me." But he replied, "Lord, let me first go and bury my father." But he answered him, "Let the dead bury their dead. But you go and proclaim the kingdom of God." And another said, "I will follow you, Lord, but first let me say farewell to my family at home." And Jesus answered him, "No one who sets a hand to the plow and looks to what is left behind is fit for the kingdom of God." The Gospel of the Lord.
I was thinking this morning that this gospel passage would make a great foundation for a commencement speech. Don't look too far ahead yet, though, students of Holy Family. Because it challenges Jesus' disciples, but it reveals something about Jesus' challenge. First, it reveals that Jesus, because he's calling his disciples to such a height, it shows that he has confidence in them. He actually trusts them, that they have the ability to carry out the mission. And that is indeed what you do. When you set a high standard for somebody, it's like saying, "I believe in you. I believe you can do this." And he elicits in his disciples a desire to reach farther than they thought they could. And so he says, "Foxes have dens, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." Do you still want to follow me? Do you still want to go down that road? What does he mean by that, though? All the things we get attached to, especially for comfort and security. Would you be willing to leave your iPhone or your Android for Jesus? I didn't get any fast responses. We've got a long ways to go. More realistically, the journey to Jesus takes time, and so we take realistic steps. Perhaps it's not a matter of getting rid of the iPhone, but it's a matter of using it more prudently. To not be so attached to it. I saw a cartoon strip not too long ago where it was a picture of Moses. He was looking at his iPhone and he was commenting to Joshua. And he said, "I'm having a hard time seeing God." And from the cloud you hear, "Get your face out of your phone." And so here is Job, who is having a hard time dealing with life because he can't see where all this is going with God. But you can see Jesus. You can hear him in his word. You see him in the reality of the Eucharist. You see him in the reality of fellowship. And so we need to get detached from the comforts of things that distract us from seeing Jesus and hearing him and where he's leading us. Another replied, follow me, and when he said follow me, another replied, first let me go bury my father. What we're talking about here is, are there dead relationships in your life? Are there relationships that are taking you nowhere? Or are they destructive relationships? Are there relationships that you're afraid you can't leave or get away from their malice unless they die on you? Well, then leave them. Quit destructive relationships. Quit relationships that hold you back from excellence, the excellence of following Christ. No one who sets his hand to the plow and looks to what was left behind is fit for the kingdom. I was reminded of the people of Israel when they left Egypt, all that slavery. And then God starts providing them free dinners every day, breakfast, lunch, and supper every day. And then they start to complain that they don't like the food. It's for free. And they say that manna was was one of the most perfect foods, non-gluten, non-carbohydrate, right? Totally fat-free, all of that, great for your health. But they wanted to go back to a place that was enslaving them and killing them. But God was calling them into something else. And so once, as a disciple of Christ, we set our face to go to heaven, we need to look at everything else in perspective. If it's going to keep me back from heaven, I can't go there anymore. And if I can't restrain myself from looking back or going back, then I need to get help. The mercy and the grace of Christ in the sacrament of reconciliation, or good counsel that takes me to Jesus, to saturate my mind with his word and teaching so that I don't look back ever. Jesus has a lot of trust in you. Christ is counting on you, and you can count on him.
Regina Celi, let